Welcome to Woodland Community College Spotlight, a presentation of WCC, Chapter of the Future Business Leaders of America. I'm your host, Joe Smith, and our guest today is Ashley Noonan of Animal Care Clinic in Woodland. Welcome to Spotlight, Ashley.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm so glad to have you here because so many people want to know about veterinarian clinics. But I'm so glad to have you here. I understand that you've been in this business for now almost 5 years or more.
I've been at this clinic for almost 5 years. I've been in the veterinary business for 20 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's awesome. So did you pursue college to learn
I started out as a kennel, what they call a kennel technician.
Okay.
So cleaning cages, picking up poop,
Okay.
sanitizing, refilling. I start at the bottom, and
Okay.
I was 20 years old and just started cleaning kennels and realized then that that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I had done many other professions prior to the veterinary field, and when I started in veterinary taking care of animals, that's what I had realized I wanted to do. I didn't have animals growing up really, and so I've always had an affinity for animals.
Okay.
But until I started just cleaning up, and seeing what they do in a veterinary hospital, that I was like, this is what I want to do. And I just kind of moved up, from there to rooming and taking histories and then into vet assisting.
Okay.
I tried college. It wasn't great for me, but I pursued and continued on, and now I'm pursuing my certificate degree of certified veterinary practice manager.
Okay, that's a beautiful thing. And I know during the time when you were cleaning cages and coming up, you still were dealing with the animals a lot.
Yeah, walking
You know.
them and giving medications and and those things.
You remember some of the animals that you dealt with in the beginning?
In the beginning, there was a dachshund named Daisy May,
Okay.
and she was actually bit on the chest by a brown recluse spider.
Wow.
They originally, I thought she had parvo, and they ended up one day, because she was hairy, and one day we had her hospitalized doing IV treatments and fluids and medications, and the wound had sloughed, so the skin
Okay.
had come off, and there was a big wound. And the doctor goes, "Yep, got bit by a spider."
Wow.
And that's what. So luckily, the owners brought her in, and was able to save her, and she lived to be for another 10 years.
That's interesting because if a human gets bitten by a brown recluse, we have to seek care immediately. And this was like days when this dog did it. Got bitten. Was it days that?
Well, they sought treatment right away.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was put
Okay.
on IV fluids and treated right away.
Okay.
But it took us a few days to figure out why there was lethargy and vomiting. But we figured it out.
Interesting. That's good. Actually, I just want to know what are some of the problems that your business solve for customers?
The veterinary care in this economy is, it is growing. And so I think as we continue to support those owners, in education, in understanding what they need for their pet, including follow-up vaccines or follow-up care, blood work, things like that, that's how we support, the economy, and we support the community.
That's good. So what was the motivation behind starting your business? I mean,
Starting in my field as in veterinary and moving up into practice managing, I have found a true love for caring about the employees. A big part of the veterinary field is the employees. And I learned a long time ago that how you truly care about the employees is going to go far. And I
Yes.
really wanted to pay attention to their needs. And I had a lot of really good examples of what not to do as a practice manager. And so I knew what I didn't want to do. And going into this practice, Dr. Tucker is the owner of the practice.
Okay.
And she allows me to support the staff and truly, understand with flexible schedules and, competitive pay, you know, and the perks that come with veterinary care. You know, to be able to bring your dog to work, you know, on a day that they seem stressed out.
Yeah.
And so that's why I do practice managing.
That's awesome. I often say that my value is determined by how many people I can help. And I see you have that same foundation.
Right.
We help people, and that's how we grow.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. So how long has the practice been in Woodland?
The practice has actually been in Woodland for, I believe, since the 80s.
Wow.
A Dr. Richard Bruga actually owned the practice prior to Dr. Tucker taking it over, and it's moved a few places until it finally landed at 5th Street in downtown.
Okay, but it's always been in Woodland?
Always been in Woodland.
Okay, that's awesome. That's how you establish a business.
Yeah.
And get clientele that trusts you.
Right.
So I like that. So how's your business involved well, you just explained how it shifted over time, and you have a new doctor now. I mean, this doctor's been there for how long?
We have 2 doctors.
Okay.
Dr. Tucker has been there for just about 20 years, or almost 20 years, and then Dr. Clifton, who's a secondary associate doctor, has been there for like about 15 years.
Okay. Now, as far as management, do you get involved in the decision for the doctor to be fired, or?
I am involved in all employees in the hiring and in the termination process, if that's deemed necessary.
Okay, so you got to put the hammer down sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Unfortunately, you know, that comes with the trade, but you have to, you know, do what's best for the practice and what's best for, you know, what's going to keep you in the community the longest.
Okay.
And so sometimes those things happen.
So it's not a high turnover though, as far as employees.
In the veterinary field, there is a high turnover rate. We have been very lucky in our practice that we have it's been over a year since we've had to hire anybody new.
Okay, that's good, because like you said, your value is how you treat people.
Right.
You know, and that's why people stay around. Are you getting a lot of college students that work there?
We have one girl who she just finished her master's program and is pursuing a veterinary doctorate. She's applied to multiple schools. We work with one girl, she's in high school, she's our kennel technician. She's a senior in high school. And so we have a lot of different, in various ages of education.
Do y'all offer any type of internship?
Unfortunately, there isn't any sort of like free internships. We do work with the RVT program at Yuba College.
Okay.
And we do get an intern through them.
Okay, that's good. I mean, high school students need to have a place. So you're saying it's a price that some people could pay to get into your internship?
No, you just have to have paid internships.
Okay.
Or because you have to be covered under insurance in the state of California.
So have you had to deal with any failures in your field?
I think failures is how we grow. I fail a lot of times, but I think it's how we grow up and succeed from that failure.
Yeah.
I believe that failure is to learn.
It is.
And so, yeah, I'm sure that I've failed in many aspects when it comes to my coworkers and employees. But I firmly believe that as long as I continue to come at them with a, you know, strong but loving, personality and intuition, that I think that, you know, we can work through anything.
Okay. So I know you deal with a lot of animals, and sometimes it's sad when you see them come in. Mm-hmm. But you guys bring life back to them, which is that love part of loving animals. Do you guys have fun? Is there fun there? It always seems like it's so serious.
We do have fun. Next week is actually Veterinary Technician Appreciation Week. And so Dr. Tucker is actually providing someone to come in and do chair massages. So,
Okay.
you know, hand and shoulders, just to kind of break up that stress. We have multiple drug reps that come in and offer, coffee dates or, pastry dates or lunches.
Okay.
That kind of break up that monotony,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We also, as a team, have team building aspects so that way we can all come as a united front.
That's what you need. I mean, there's so many things happening in our society today.
Yeah.
We need that uplifting part. Now, do you guys do like an annual picnic at all, just amongst employees? And
Yeah, we have a annual Christmas party that we do, a white elephant gift exchange
Okay.
here locally. Last year it was I think that last year and this year it's at Kitchen 428.
Okay. They got good food there?
They got
'Cause
great food.
I haven't heard of them. They're local?
Yeah, Mojo's Kitchen or Kitchen 428. They're in
Okay.
downtown.
Okay. I'm going to have to take my super host there, Glenn, so we can sit down and eat and check
That's
it out.
right. That's right. They got good tri-tip and a good prime rib. So
That's awesome. So what is your best advice to a person contemplating starting to get into the management of a veterinary clinic?
I think the best practice managers start at the bottom. I think it's hard to come into practice managing with only a managerial background. You have to know animals. You have to know the people that work with those animals. You have to know how the environment works in a veterinary field. And I think in order to break into that, you really need a good foundation in veterinary care. And so whether that's being a vet assistant, going through a program like the RVT program, or, going and starting at the bottom as a kennel technician, I think that's what's important.
Are you able to tell when a person just doesn't have that love for animals, but want to be in the field of caring for animals? Are you able to tell that difference?
I think you can. I think you can, definitely understand a person's demeanor, when they're interviewing and going through. But I really haven't met a person who gets into veterinary care that doesn't love animals.
Okay. Yeah, because your love started by cleaning cages. So
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay. And one day, are you interested in owning your own clinic?
Yeah, I think, I think that's the natural progression and the natural next step. I would love to be a part owner, because you have to be a veterinarian to own a veterinary hospital in California. And so I would love to be a part owner with a veterinarian
Okay.
to help run that. But I also love, I love practice managing. I really do. I love the manager, the HR, all of it. Just the nitty gritty, and to help support a team. That's
Okay.
what I love.
Ashley, it is so good to have you here. And just thank you for being a guest on Spotlight.
You're welcome.
Thank you again for watching Spotlight here at Woodland Community College. Look for more interesting episodes and more special guests that we'll bring to the college and bring to the table. Thank you very much.